I think that the National Democratic Party has with the people. This thing has come up, and they've seized on it as the only thing that they can make news with and try to embarrass this administration. And they're going to wring every drop of blood out of it that they can. And I think it's very obvious now that the resistance has been drawn on a party line basis rather than some objective study into what in fact has happened. So I think it's just another political hassle now, and that in the end result we'll see that nothing illegal happened and nothing unethical happened. And in the meantime, the American public will be amused by the antics of the politicians in Washington.
Jim Robertson has proposed a pay increase for city employees amounting to slightly more than $400 per year per person. As members of the Fire Department and Local 1444 International Association of Firefighters, we feel the time has come for us to make a definite request concerning our pay. The men of the Fire Department of Montgomery, Alabama are aware of the many financial problems that face our city government leaders. However, we are also keenly aware of the vicious rise in the cost of living in the past 3 years. We feel that the mayor's proposed pay increase is not adequate to bring our salaries to a level barely equaling the cost of living these past 3 years. We feel that a pay increase of at least 15% is long overdue. In the interest of all citizens of Montgomery and in the name of fairness, we are hereby requesting that the Associate Commissioners Rooker and Evans take a firm stand for a pay increase of not less than 15% beginning this coming pay period, April 14, 1972, and all merit raises be guaranteed beginning October 1, 1972.
All in favor of the ordinance, please raise your hand. The mayor votes for the ordinance. The ordinance is defeated, and we are now back to... All right, sir. All in vote negative, please raise your hand. It is 2 votes, Commissioner Evans and Commissioner Rucker, voting the ordinance down.
The next pay period, each and every hourly employee of the city of Montgomery be and is hereby granted an increase in his hourly rate of pay in an amount equal to a 12.5% addition to his present pay rate, that each and every employee of the city of Montgomery who is otherwise employed on a salary basis under the merit scale for such employees be and hereby granted a 2-step merit increase. That, number 2, that effective as of October 1st, 1972. Each and every hourly employee of the city of Montgomery be and is hereby granted an increase in his hourly rate of pay in an amount equal to a 5% addition to his then rate of pay. That'll be in October.
As chief fiscal officer of this city, if the revenue is not there, I believe, Mr. Hamilton, you'll bear me out when I say that if the revenue is not there, that the responsibility of the chief fiscal officer is simply to prorate the budget to the departments based upon the available revenue. Is that
Come up with that when the revenue was not there, but we raised the revenue after.
Commissioners and not to vote on a proposed increase like this without accompanying revenue to show where it's coming from, sir. Citizens of Montgomery, the time very well may come in the future that the people of this community must decide whether they want curtailed services or higher taxes. And I added something to that statement that day and that night. And I said, I shall not come to you until I am absolutely, be my guest. The microphone is still, I said, Franklin budgets over the years. That is, you just put your hand right on the problem, sir.
That's the problem that you have got to meet yourself, and you have got to provide from now on.
We have some accountability and some, at least, reasonable assurance that we're going to be getting 100% for the tax dollars. Then I submit to you that we should do some house cleaning first.
Well,
Now let me carry it one step further and say to you that
First of all, of course, the money issue, and we feel very satisfied with the money at this time. Of course, the men have already accepted it and now gone back to work. On the issue of all the employees going back to work without any repercussions or any actions taken against them, we had a complete agreement on that. No problem. As far as the boots and raincoats and gloves, Commissioner Evans agreed that these employees should have these items and that we would sit down and start to work on this matter immediately. And I feel that he is very sincere in this, and he wants the men to have them. And of course, this does involve a capital outlay, and we'll have to work this out.
You know how long they might be in coming?
I feel that it will be in the near future. From our conversation with him, I feel that we'll be in the near future.
How about vacation pay and sick time for the men?
This is a matter that's been of high interest to our unclassified members, and we talked with Commissioner Evans on this matter, and Commissioner Evans said this. He said that he is very much in favor of these employees having vacation pay and sick pay, same as the classified employees, and that he would sit down with us and start to work on a plan to see that this becomes a reality.
I think law students will probably appreciate this. There's some doubt in my mind now if I should have just instead of filing the suit, if I should have just gone ahead and paid the $850 because I was told it was going to cost me more than that in legal fees to get anything. That's a springboard for looking at the 1970s. We saw three men in this country who probably exemplified American idealism at its best. We saw their lives take the views with the common people, as I'll classify us. Well, I suppose that depends on how you define victory. I think one victory for me will be if we can make election laws relevant enough in this state so everyone can participate in the elections and have a chance to run for office. And that would be winning for me, I think, to a large degree. And who knows? I mean, I'm only 31. Maybe I'll run again.
Jimmy Harper says the Democratic Party in Alabama is not really democratic until what he calls the common man can run for public office. If he loses his fight against the Democratic qualifying system in Alabama in district court, then he says he plans to appeal his case in the U.S. Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. This is John Moore, WSFA TV News, reporting.
I think it's very unfortunate, too, that black people are having the first opportunity in the history of Alabama to have a presidential candidate to address a predominantly black group. Of course, white attendance will be very high, we expect, but for anyone to set out to try to discourage Mr. Humphrey, who has been a champion of the working man, a champion for the blacks, a champion for education, to ask him not to come to Alabama, I think it's not only asinine, it's very unfortunate.
Bob, I don't know. The polls that we've heard of so far, the one that's taken by the outfit over in Georgia, we're running ahead in it. The polls we've had taken ourselves so far show we're leading, and we should be able to have these official results next week, at which time I think we'll make them public.
We've heard so many candidates today talking about law and order, and yet as they talk about law and order, on the same hand, they simply criticize and decry the federal court structure. It's time that we learned in Alabama and in other parts of the country too, that if we're going to have respect for the law, that we need to have respect for the court system that seeks to interpret the law.
It's part of the effort of our School of Commerce and Business Administration to reach out and build the strongest possible bond with the business community of the state. It's also part of the university's effort to reach out to the people of the state that it serves. We're deeply grateful for the support of the businessmen in this area, in this endeavor, particularly for the leadership role that Walter Tyson is playing in organizing the meeting.
Frankly, I don't know what he is trying to prove, and certainly I do not want to get embroiled in a big controversy now designed to try to embarrass Mr. Humphrey. We want Mr. Humphrey here, and I think it's a step to try to embarrass him, and I don't plan to participate in it. As you well know, gentlemen, for the last 5 years, we've been turned the other cheek, we've been attacked, we've been assassinated, character-wise and what have you. And I'm not going to respond today, but I'm pretty much tired of turning the other cheek, but I'll wait until after Mr. Humphrey leaves before we get into that.
Wood says in the past his strength has been with working people. He hopes to have that same working vote in the May 2nd primary, and also hopes for a large turnout of young people. If today's turnout at Lanier High School is any indication, Woods will do well with a young voter. Bob Gambakurta, WSFA TV News, reporting.
What do you think the biggest issue is in the 2nd congressional district race in the Democratic primary?
The poor state of the economy. There's just too many people without jobs, and too many people are having a hard time paying their bills, and the poor people, they're getting poorer all the time. So I'd say our economy is the biggest problem.
You don't feel President Nixon has done an adequate job in this area?
No, I do not, Bob. I think that his economic policies have been a failure. Look at your high unemployment rate and the number of people who are without jobs now who did have jobs, and the low pay of our workers. I think his economic policies have been a total failure.
Lewis said the decade of the 1960s brought a great many changes for us. In the early 1960s, it was young people like yourselves from colleges like this one who marched and demonstrated and protested and boycotted and finally won the right to sit at lunch counters. A very important victory.
Continue ye in my love. If you keep my commandments.
Theological Seminary and a BA in philosophy at Fisk University. In 1960, Mr. Lewis was an organizer of the first original participant.
Politics is one of the most important forces in the world. It's politics that decides what kind of life, if any, you will have, what kind of world, if any, you will live in, what kind of future, if any, your children will have. If when you graduate from this school and go into teaching, it's politics that decides what kind of salary you will get, how many pupils per classroom you will teach. It's politics that decides what the speed limit will be on the street in front of this campus. And if you break the speed limit and Johnny B. Good pulls you over, it's politics that decides whether or not he says, "Come here, girl," or "Come here, boy," or whether he says, "Excuse me, madam, I noticed that your vehicle was traveling a trifle in excess of the posted speed limit, and I hope that you won't do it again." That's politics. You never know.
Appreciate your help and anything you can do for us. Appreciate your support.
Well, glad to do what I can.
Tell her what.
As district attorney, I've had my hands tied, and the police have had their hands tied by the liberal trend set by our federal courts. And this has been one thing that has bothered me as district attorney, and when I go to Congress, I intend to introduce legislation to attempt to correct some of these measures, because the average citizen in America today is suffering at the hands of the criminal and the drug problem that we have because of our unreasonable law rules that are passed by the Supreme Court need correction. And as a congressman, I intend to correct this because I know the problems. I've been a district attorney, I've been on the scene, I've been in the courtroom, and I know where the problems are, and that's what I want to correct, and that's one of the reasons I'm running for Congress.
Reeves' campaign strategy is apparently to speak out against the promises he says other politicians have made and to point out the problems he says need solutions. But he says he is not making any political promises of his own. This is John Moore, WSFA TV News, with the Ben Reeves campaign in Greenville.